How to follow up with your motivated sellers. What's up guys, Zach in here, and in today's video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to follow up with your motivated sellers step by step. So if you're brand new into follow-ups and how to do them, this is the video for you. But before we get into it, before I show you exactly how to follow up with your sellers, remember you need to smash that like button and subscribe to get the most free value from me. Again, on this channel, I'm trying to help you make over $100,000 per year in wholesaling profits, all for free. So let's talk about it. What is a follow-up exactly? So a follow-up is basically a check-in with a lead or a potential motivated seller to really see how they're doing and see exactly what's going on with them and if they're actually looking to get an appointment. The point of a follow-up is to convert them from actually sitting there in your CRM to actually getting a contract. Again, I have to emphasize this. The point of doing follow-ups is to convert just a lead that's sitting there into someone who's going to sign a contract. So once you get a contract signed, then we can actually bring it to the title company, do earnest money, then bring a cash buyer through, do an assignment, sell the contract via assignment of contract, and get those nice, big, fat, awesome wholesaling real estate checks. That's the point of doing follow-ups. Most of your wholesaling real estate deals, this might be a shocker for some, is going to be through some process of following up. Not every cold call initial one is to be like, okay, let's sign a contract in 5 seconds. You're going to have to probably call them back and have conversations with them to get to know them a little better, for you just to get some more information, collect some information, run some comps, maybe go on the appointment. There's so many follow-ups, that just mini ones that have to be done for you to get a actual wholesaling deal done. So there's so much nuances to follow-ups, but really they're plain and simple. So one of your initial questions might be, Zach, how do I know when a follow-up is actually ready to go from just sitting in my CRM to being a potential appointment? And this goes down to the 4 pillars of wholesaling. And this is the classic qualifying questions you have to ask your motivated sellers to see if it's a good wholesaling real estate deal or not. Number 1 here is motivation. Always break down the motivation and see if they're motivated right now to go sell their house. Do they have a need to sell the property right now over when they didn't have to before? Next one here is condition. How's the condition of the property, time frame, and then price. We really want to break those 2 down. If their time frame is getting a lot smaller, maybe we do appointment, and then the price, you got to make sure it's still a reasonable price for you to go on the appointment. Now, this is a very important thing. I don't tell people to write things down much on YouTube videos, but I think on this video, this might warrant for you to write a quick note down here. And this is something I wish I knew starting out, which I implement in my wholesaling business religiously. And that is, you will lose deals by not following up enough, but you will never lose a deal by following up too much. I think that's a really important part of emphasis for you to understand, that usually there's not too much following up and too much of little following up. So if you're having the thought in your head, should I follow up with this person or not? You probably should. And it's really, really as simple as that. I mean, most of the time you shouldn't be not following up. And if someone says, hey, can you call me back in 10 months? Probably won't go follow up with them every day. But for most people, it's not even laziness. It's just lack of accountability sometimes, or not even knowing you should follow up with that person every week. Has them not doing the deal. And eventually the person that follows up the most usually wins when you're competing with a saturated market. So the number one part of the advice there is you need to be following up more. Most of the time, you're not following up enough. The more you follow up, the better chance of you getting a deal. Remember guys, the point of a follow-up, and really where you're trying to be in your follow-ups, is be a friend. Just keep that connection. That's really the point of doing your follow-ups. A lot of the follow-ups aren't really doing the converting. Sometimes you call them, they're ready to go, and hey, let's convert that into an appointment. But for most of your appointments that take a lot of follow-ups to do, you're just being a friend. You're understanding their situations and really seeing how they're doing. These follow-ups can be as simple as 1 to 2 minutes, and you really need to reach them on all platforms. I really think that's very important. Most of the time, you guys are only following up via calling, and there's so many other things you should be doing. So I've had bad habits before with our acquisitions people where they'd only follow up over text, and that is the worst thing you possibly could do. Calling needs to be at utmost importance, but sometimes your seller's not going to answer your phones at all, and maybe you follow up once or twice a week and they're getting no response. Then we're going to go to some other type of communication. So do the calls. The next type of communication here is voicemail. If they don't answer your voicemail, hit them with an SMS text blast, just send them a text message. And then after that, if they're getting no answer at all, go on Facebook and message them. That's another thing you could do. And then lastly, if you get nothing, if it's complete, you're getting ghosted like crazy, you should probably knock on their door and just see how they're doing. That, again, you won't get in trouble for following up and carrying out your seller. I truthfully believe the more you follow up, the better chance you are getting the deal. And really, the way these conversations really should be going, if you're doing text or call, is, hey, Mr. Seller, just calling, checking in, see how you're doing. What's going on? Is there anything new going on with the property? Or are you still looking to sell? And then, 4 pillars from there, maybe some rapport in there. Okay, you're not looking to sell yet. Well, if anything happens, anything changes, give me a call back. Let's go from there. I really appreciate the call. That's it. I mean, you're just trying to see if they're ready for an appointment. Sometimes they're not, so hey, not a big deal. Maybe they want too much money for the house. Really, the way is, hey, if anything changes, give me a call back. If you're truly, I'm not that number, but if something changes, let me know. And those are really the best conversations really to have. Who wants too much money for their house? But it could also be very important if someone just isn't ready right now. Maybe their time frame's not right. Or maybe they don't have the motivation yet. Just checking on them. One time the motivation's going to be there, and then we can go on the appointment and get the wholesaling real estate deal. Remember, guys, most of your leads should be stored in a secure CRM. I use Podio, and that's really where I'm doing most of my follow-up work in our real estate wholesaling company. And that's where our acquisitions people are doing it. We put our cash buyers in. Podio is an amazing tool. And at freewholesaling.com, we kind of break down exactly how to use Podio with your follow-ups. But really, you guys should be implementing follow-ups in your wholesaling real estate business. I don't think enough people are. And really because they're forgetting how to do it. And guys, I use Podio. When I use it, I actually add tasks in there. We make sure all of our leads have tasks in there. The task is follow-up. So it pops up in our acquisitions person's feed for the follow-ups they have to do for the day, the week, the year, any really time. They're in there actually doing it. Also, you can actually have your tasks, actual follow-up reminders set for emails. If you don't have Podio, again, it's free, but if you're not going to use Podio, maybe put your follow-ups in like a Google Calendar. We'll get an automatic email. That's another free one to do. Those are really, really good ways to do it. Or even put follow-ups you have to do on your phone. Now, this comes back to the last one, is how often should I be following up? And it's a hard one. Truthfully, the more you follow up, the better chance. So if you could follow up with a lead every single day, that'd be the best. But I know once you get hundreds and maybe thousands, and in our case, tens of thousands of leads, you can't be doing that. So I recommend at least once a week, all of your leads can be followed up. And if that's too much, you should probably have more acquisitions people in your staff, because these leads are really important just sitting there. At least they should be hit every single week. We're very aggressive in our market. It's a very saturated market we're in here. So we are very, very aggressive once a week. Very hot leads should be followed up every single day. Cold leads can be once a week, or just generally, every other week. And then regular leads once a week. So that's kind of our recommendation for follow-ups. But really, if you don't have that many leads, I think every day, you won't really get in trouble for it. Again, you won't get in trouble for actually caring about your seller and following up. Also, guys, follow-ups include following up with your connections and your networking. If you're dealing with realtors who are giving you cash buyers, treat that as a follow-up too, not just about motivated sellers too. I think it's really important you do that. Create calendars, reminders to follow up with your other people that you work with in your wholesaling business. Last one here is a general rule. You are going to encounter this with your cold calling or SMS text blasting if you're doing this marketing strategy. And you're going to have a seller that says, Zach, I really want to sell this house, but I got to wait at least 8 months for Sally here, my daughter, to graduate high school, and then I'm moving out of state. Can I give you a call back in 8 months, and then I'm probably ready to sell then? Most wholesalers will call back in 8 months. What you need to do when that seller tells you to call in 8 months, you do the 50% rule or the half rule, where someone says, hey, in 8 months, can you follow up with me? Follow up with them in 4 months. Cut that in half. I do the third rule. Most wholesalers learn the half rule. So if someone does 8 months, I would probably follow up in 2.5 months or maybe 3 months, just so I beat the other wholesalers that know that rule. But that's generally another rule you should be doing with your follow-up. So overall, guys, that is actually how to do your follow-ups. Remember, the more you follow up, the better chance of you getting a deal. And go out there and follow up. Most likely, you are not following up enough. So I challenge you to go out there, follow up with all your leads after watching this video. I don't even care if someone told you a curse word or something yesterday. Follow up with that lead. Follow up every single lead in your CRM and comment below how the results are. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Have a blessed day.